Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to the segment of From the Ground Up. This is where we talk to entrepreneurs, small business owners, and kind of figure out how they made it into the small business world and what tips they have for you. Let me first introduce myself. My name is C or Carla. I am the owner of CLM Custom Designs on Etsy. And this is my YouTube channel where I talk about all things crafting and all things business. So if you've been here before, welcome back. And if you're new, welcome. Come on in and take a seat and let's get ready to learn something about Marie. But before we talk to Marie, while you're here, just go on and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content that I drop out weekly. And just in case you can't catch Marie live, you can catch her on the replay. So now let's introduce Marie. Marie, tell us a little bit about yourself, ma'am.
Hello, everybody. My name is Marie. I am the owner and founder of the Tie Hive. Actually, the Tie Hive falls under the hives. I have three separate things going on, but the Tie Hive is my focus right now. I have the Tie Hive where I make men's accessories, women's accessories, and children's, and accessories for the family if you would like that. And then the Hive, no, Honeybee's Hive was actually started from my daughter because I always had kids that were a little bit heavier than other kids that were plus size, and so I wanted to make something different so that they can just be just as fly as the other kids, but it was also super comfortable. So everything was made with elastic waist, drawstrings, and things like that. And then Honey's Hive is specifically for me, so that's what I make, and that's all falls only the clothes I make for myself.
Okay, I need to recap because that was a whole lot.
Okay,
my mind is like, woo. Okay,
no.
Your umbrella is the hive.
The hives is the umbrella.
The umbrella.
Yes.
And now underneath the hive, you got the tie hives, and
Yes.
that's men and women accessories, right?
Yes.
So
Correct.
we're talking what, like ties, hankies,
Hankies. I'm starting into women's hair accessories that includes hair jewelry
okay,
and things like that. Anything that'll match the scarves, things like that. I even started doing clutches. I'll be doing mini backpacks and things like that. So
alrighty
if you
then.
want to clutch to match your husband's tie, I got you all covered.
Okay, so that's the tie hive. Then
Yes.
you said you had the honey hive, or is that what you said? Honey bee?
Honey's Hive is specifically for me, so that's not for.
Okay.
We don't even need to talk about that one because
We
that's
might, girl, because that elastic thing rang bells in my, because I love a good elastic pull on, girl.
okay.
But that's all women's clothing kind of for you.
Yes.
You mentioned one other thing. What was that?
Honeybee's Hive. Honeybee's Hive is specifically for kids. It's for teens, tweens, even young adults that may be a little thicker around the middle or who may have thicker thighs. My boys always played football, so they always had thicker legs, so I made their joggers.
Okay.
So.
I'm not mad at that because I gave birth to some thickums as well, and I tell you, it was nothing like trying to chase down some huskies in Sears that was looking like
right. And you may find one or two pieces.
So
yeah, you may find one or two pieces, and that's it. Well, with Honeybee's Hive, you got a whole wardrobe.
All right. Well, I am not mad at that. You are the jack of all trades. Okay. So now we understand what all falls under your umbrella. Okay, well, first of all, you got to tell me what's going on because I'm sensing a theme. I got the honeys, I got the bees, so where all this come from? We got on yellow today.
Wait.
About this all right, now don't sting me.
Right, okay. Now, Honey is my nickname from when I was a child. So my mom always called me Honey. I have another nickname that everybody knows. But that's her name that she named me, and like anytime I heard that name, I was there, So and still to this day, she still calls me Honey. Now, Honey Bee is actually my daughter Damari, and so I still call her Honey Bee. All
right. So
that's where it's all coming from.
I knew I had to have some type of heart connection.
Yeah, it's all nicknames.
That's cute. I love the cohesiveness and how you ran all that together, but kept each one. They got their special thing. Cool. All right. So you don't have tell me where your business is right now. Where are you servicing people? Like, what is your platform in which you sell your things, word of mouth, or how you doing that?
A lot of things right now, Carla, is word of mouth. But you also can find me on Instagram at the Tie Hive. It was the _tie_hive. And then you can also find me Marie Clopton on Facebook. And there you'll see some of the examples of some of the things that I've done so far. You can make requests, special requests, like just say you're having a big event or you want to go somewhere with you and your husband or something, and you want to have a matching thing, a matching purse, a matching scarf, or a matching skirt. I can provide those things for you.
Okay,
So,
well, you know what? That's good to know, because most of the entrepreneurs that I've had on so far have had Etsy shops or Shopify or maybe even some brick and mortars. But it's good to know that you can still have a successful business
right.
without using that particular type of medium, that you can also have it through word of mouth and through people contacting you directly, which tends to lend itself more to custom things, right?
Yeah, yeah.
More stores kind of like you just kind of have your things out there and people choose them. But when you have that connection, it's more of a custom thing, which I can appreciate, because people contact me a great deal that way as well, because of that custom piece.
Right.
Before we go, we got a lot of people up in the chat, so let's just holler out to the fans. It looks like we got Damari in the house, we got Tiffany, Serena, we got Inspirational One. So we appreciate everybody hanging out with us. And even though we're talking, we're going to try to, if you have any questions or anything, drop them in the chat. We're going to try to respond to them. Marie can't necessarily see them, but I will definitely relay your questions to her so that we can answer them as well, because we love an interactive show and we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Okay. So now, Marie, tell me a little bit about the challenges, because obviously you sew, right? That's the main thing. All these pieces that we're talking about is you physically having to touch everything,
right.
pick out everything. So I would imagine that there's some challenges that may go along with that. So kind of talk about that.
Well, there are a lot of challenges that go along with sewing for other people. One thing is your time. Because I'm a mother of 4, I'm a wife, I have to fit sewing in there somewhere, and so that calls for a lot of early mornings and a lot of late nights, a lot of in-betweens. I may be cooking and may have to go and wash my hands so I can get a couple things cut out. I may have to go back, back and forth. So time is one of the main challenges. And then production, like I like to produce and have everything ready. Okay. But sometimes I can't do it. I have to fix this order. I may have an order for 4 ties that need to be done within 2 weeks. My turnaround time is usually 7 to 14 days. And so I need that time to do those because I like my stuff to be, nothing is perfect, Carla, but everybody that buys from me knows that my stuff has to be perfectly imperfect. It has to be right. If there's any nook, any spot, anything, I'm starting over. And so that's just what I live by, because I want everybody to be satisfied, so time and production and just family life, because I want to have more things to display. I do have a lot of things already produced, but some of the stuff that I've done, like I do a lot of florals, like a lot of guys like florals.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. And then another challenge is you're buying from these fabric stores and it may say it's this fabric, but when you get it, it's a thinner version of what you thought it should have been, or you may get another fabric from another company and it's just right on time. And so when you're going to sew those things, you have to face them. If it's too thin, you have to face it, because you don't want a guy with a tie that's falling over. Right. You want to see that tie sticking out and sticking up. And that's what I provide. Oh, and another thing with the tie hive.
Okay.
I also sew for big and tall men. So the long ties that I make will not be too short for them. Okay. The bow ties that I make for them will be jumbo size. So
okay.
I try to just get everybody in there, because I don't want anybody to feel left out, because how I felt growing up. Sometimes I felt left out. And then when I realized that I could sew and start making my skirts and things in high school, it changed the game. Everybody wanted my skirts. Everybody wanted to know where I bought it from.
So basically this passion and this love comes from a little thing. This ain't something new. You just decided.
Since I was 9 years old, I've been sewing.
Okay. So is it something that was natural? Did your mom, grandma, was it?
Yeah, my mom taught me when we were smaller, younger than 9, we had to hand sew quilts with my grandmother. Okay. And so I used to, that was just so much, because we had to hand sew them. But then my mom, showed my sister and I how to actually sew. And so my sister used to make the baddest outfits. She used to take pleather and make she had this light blue pleather outfit I'll never forget. And it was just a shell top and an elastic waist skirt. And it was the best thing ever. And I can never forget the picture of that in my mind. And from that, I just said, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just do it. So I've learned, I've been doing it forever.
That is awesome. I have to go back because now my mother was a sewer. I take
Okay.
that, but I don't really sew. But normally people who are sewing at those age, now you tell me if you can relate to this. My mother always made us matching outfits. So it just
Yes,
seemed
yes.
me and my
Yep.
mother was dressing alike all the time. That was just like the thing. So
Yep.
I'm like,
Yep.
I don't know why that is. But people who sew, they just
It's always a matching outfit, you know. So me and my sister, we used to have like floral tan shirts, and then she would make my brother a tan button down in the light blue pants. I mean,
like the Partridge Family. I'm like, Mom, why do you always look like the Partridge Family?
Yes, I've made outfits where I made a whole outfit, the shirt and the top, and the shirt may have been too small for me, so I gave it to Damari.
Gotcha.
Took it in on the side. I wore the skirt, she wore the top, and Dion wore the bow tie. I mean,
that's how you can always know there's a seamstress in the family. When all the kids and the parents,
you always see the matching things. Yeah.
Cool. So in your business, you're a one-man band, right?
Yes.
You do everything from start to finish.
Yep.
So that being the case, I would imagine it does present some challenges because, you know, even though in other businesses like mine and some other people online, we buy cups and tumblers, and for the most part, you know, you buy them, they're kind of all relatively the same. It doesn't really matter who you buy from. But in the case with you, like you're saying, different distributors, maybe different weights and different things. So yeah, that would present a challenge. And I certainly can understand about the perfection. I think anybody who's in the crafting space or, you know, a product industry, we feel like it's our name. It's
right. Yes.
It's out there. You only get one shot at it. Once it's ruined, you know, it's ruined. So things that other people can't see that we can see, you know, we're constantly with that critical eye. Sometimes that's a blessing and a curse.
I know,
so I totally get that. Let me look. It looks like there's a question in the chat. Tiffany says, hey, Marie, this is both for you and Carla. I've been doing a lot more custom stuff that is taking a lot more time to produce. How do you determine what to charge and not price yourself out? Ooh. And Tiff says she also can identify with those matching outfits.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you take it first since I'm interviewing you.
That's another challenge for me is making sure I charge what I should charge, because you know, once you get a piece of fabric, it takes you, you know, a yard to make something, you know, because you can't just lay a pattern like the ties. I can't just lay them straight down the fabric. It has to go against the grain line, and so some may be thin. I mean, you know. Smaller in width, and then some may be large, you know, some is larger. You know, I may get some that's 30 inches in length, or which is a 60 inch, and then some may be 40, you know, so it takes more room, you know, so you got to figure out how to do it. And sometimes you have to open it out and cut 4 separate pieces. And so that's a challenge for me, because sometimes the fabric may be expensive itself, you know, and so I don't want to undercut myself. And so there's a method that I don't have it in front of me that I try to use. You know, I try to, you know, what materials are, what my time is, and then that's what I charge.
Yeah.
So it's still tough though sometimes.
It is tough. I would definitely say you always definitely recoup the product cost. So definitely whatever you spent to purchase the fabric, whatever you spent to purchase a button, a clip, whatever it is, I definitely say right off the top, you got to add in all your product. Now that too becomes tricky, because of course, if you're buying a bolt of fabric, or if we're buying a case of cups and you're only selling one, you got to kind of break down how much
divided by one,
the one cost, right? So after you get all of that out, you know, you got to think about your time. But the other thing is, you also got to think about if you're like in an Etsy space or something like that, you got to be comparable to everybody else, right? So even though you may say this cost me this much, you can't always necessarily charge that, because everybody else is charging, you know, something less. So it is definitely a tricky space. So I always try to, you know, take my products, take my time, you know, and kind of come up. The other thing I do though too, I tell you, I'm an Etsy troll. I will look on Etsy and see what other people are charging for the same.
You know what? I do that too. Yep. Some people are like charging like super,
Ridiculous.
high prices. That's ridiculous. That, everybody else, that's why their stuff is sitting there.
Right.
But everybody, the people that charge, I look at what the mean is.
Yep.
Then, I said, okay, you know what, I can do this.
Yeah.
So.
Because you don't want to be too low, because then that speaks to your product. You don't want to be too high.
Yep.
And it's funny you should ask this question, because I just watched this. I think it was a TikTok or something today. And the guy said, hey, you need to tell people that you give your product 3 ways. You give it good, you give it fast, and you give it cheap. Out of those 3 things, tell them to choose 2. So if they say they want it good and cheap, then it's not going to be fast. If you say you want it fast and good, then it's not going to be cheap. You know what I mean? So I just thought that was so profound, because I'm like, you're absolutely right. They have to decide if they want value, if they, want to solve a problem, or if they just want something cheap. Right.
Right.
Because even though there's a lot of people doing what you're doing, I look at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A's chicken sandwich in comparison to Burger King's chicken sandwich, it's really no comparison. They're chicken sandwiches, but Chick-fil-A's is a little fresher. It's a little, you know what I mean?
Right.
So they're going to charge more. And the people who prefer that better quality of meat going to go to Chick-fil-A.
Right.
Tiffany, that may not have even answered your question, because we gave you nothing. It was almost like a tangent.
We tried to.
But yeah, we tried. And we will, since we do know how to get to you, once we get our hand on the formula, I can kick the formula your way, and you can, and there's also an app called the Crafting Calculator. And you can download that app and punch in those different things, and it will spit you out what they feel as though you should charge. So hopefully that is.
I need to check that out myself, Carla. Crafting Calculator.
Yeah, definitely. She says she struggles more with the time than anything, and I relate to that. My rule of thumb for time, like, I'm never going to turn on like my heat press for one thing. If I'm turning on my heat press, I'm pressing multiple things. If I'm turning on, and that's important, like with your turnaround time for your product. So just make sure you tell a person, you can get your product in, I don't know, 3 to 5 days. So then that way you can make multiple things in 3 to 5 days. So you're making multiple things, and you're making better use of your time. And even if you don't have something, order that you're making, a lot of times I will do mock things up. So I'm still producing, and I'm still using that for photos and different things like that. So I still feel like it's a good use of my time. Or maybe I'm making a gift for somebody that I want to give. I do it all in that, so I can still feel like I'm maximizing my time, and I'm not just making one particular thing. So
I agree with that. So like when I'm cutting, if I have 2 ties for this guy over here, and then 4 for this one and 1 for that one, I'm cutting all of them on the same day. I'm interfacing them all on the same day. Whatever day, if I know that I'm not going to have time that day, I'll cut that day. Then the next day I'll interface and I'll pin. And then the next day I'll finish everything, So, and that's why my turnaround time is different, because if I have to order something, I have to wait until, the fabric companies are pretty familiar with who I am. So I've already talked to them, I got a relationship with them, they kind of, oh yeah, that's you, And so they know that I want my stuff right away. And so they usually send it to me, and I usually get it within maybe about 4 or 5 days. So, if I already have fabric, then I can just whip those out.
Yeah. I think you speak to a good point too, having relationships within businesses, right? Because no matter what business you are, you got to deal with vendors, right? And so it's important to get relationships with your vendors. So like in your case, like you said, they know your turnaround time. They know your taste in fabric and quality. So they may steer you to something that's great, opposed to sending you something that's not so great, because they kind of get to know you. So I think it's important too to establish. That's why for me, I struggle with overseas vendors. But I'm the same type of person that I don't like to order online, because I want to touch it or whatever. So I've kind of gotten some local people that I can drive to touch, whatever. That's important for me. I know you can't always do that when you're ordering fabric, but still you can establish relationships over the phone.
Right.
You can always ask for samples. A lot of companies will send you swatch books and different things like that, so that you can have those things and just develop that relationship. Try to find one person so you could talk to that person all the time. And then 2, that's how you get discounts and get deals and things like that. So I would definitely say relationships are super important when you're
Yeah, they are. I remember one time, Carla, I had ordered some fabric and it never came. It went to the apartment next door, you know. Yeah. And so they were sitting on a fabric because it wasn't for their address, but they didn't know what to do with these packages. I wound up going over there, getting 2 boxes with tennis shoes that we had ordered that was lost. And I got this bag of fabric, but I called the fabric store and it was a ton of fabric. It was like a $200 order of fabric. And they were like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "They said delivered." I said, "I know, but I don't have it." I said, "I live my life honestly." I said, "If I don't have it, I don't have it." I said, "If I get it, I'm sending it back."
Hey, right, right.
They resent me the fabric. So I said, "Let me just check this apartment because we're not getting things." And I called the apartment. The girl wasn't there. Anyway, we got together that later on that evening, and there it was. I immediately called them and they said, "Thank you so much for your honesty." And they said, "We'll never forget this." I said, "Well, just remember who I am," and you know, and everything. And so they said, "Yes." And I said, "How do you want me to send this back?" And so I went through that process, sent it back, and they even called me because they have my number and we got the fabric. I said, "Thank you so much." And they said, "No, thank you." So building those relationships mean a ton, because there's a lot of times I order fabric and they'll throw in another yard or two.
Yeah. And just imagine if somebody walks in their shop and says, "Hey, do you know someone
Right,
who's honest and trustworthy?" They're gonna remember that you sent the fabric back in the
right. That was a lot of fabric, you know.
So that's super important. They're talking about charging for mock-ups and things like that. Yeah, absolutely. Serena and Tiffany, you do definitely want to charge that. You can get burnt. I don't charge setup fees and mock-ups for my return customers who do it all the time, because I know that they're going to get what they say that they're going to get. But if it's a new person, I will charge a fee, and then I will tell them if they buy the product, I will take it off, just so that if they don't get it, I have at least recouped my time for the setup fee. And I am very big. Some people will just take an order and make it. That's not me. I'm always going to send a mock-up, send it to you, because when you get it, you're going to know that it's what you okayed, not just, what you thought you were going to get. So yeah, that's for sure. Coach Ken has jumped on, as well as Miss Olivia Hayward. So hello to you. Anybody in the chat who wants to be featured, because maybe you have a small business and I haven't tapped you yet, please drop it in the chat and I'll be sure to get with you. So you know what I want to talk about now? I want to talk about your workspace, right? Because people think with fabric and boats of fabric and all of this kind of stuff, and or maybe to start a business, you got to have this huge space and all this. So tell me a little bit about your workspace, turning out all these garments, fanciness.
Okay, so my workspace is actually a 6-foot table where I can turn around in my swivel chair, and then there's my computer desk, which houses my serger. So I can move over to my serger and I can move over to my basic machine. Then I have another table that's by the window, and there's another machine there in case my main machine doesn't work or acts up or anything, or something happens. I can just grab that one, put that one. But the space is my foyer, and it is pretty small. Okay. And so literally the chair is the only movement that I have. And I do have space. And then I have a chair, a soft chair there. So also where I could just sit and relax sometimes, but a lot of times that collects all the fabric. Now the fabric, I have to decipher what fabric goes where. So I have a system to where all my tie fabric is only in one area. All my jewelry things that I'm going to make, because I've been making some leather earrings and things like that to go along with, and like the women's accessories, like the under the tie hive. Okay. So the like the earrings and stuff, I have my jewelry and my leather in one place and all that stuff. But then I have my apparel fabric all separate. So nothing is ever mixed. So I got things up under the table. I got things in boxes. I got things in.
It sounds like it's all organized.
But it's organized for my liking. Right. And it's a small space, and I could have had another space, but we had another kid. So
well,
that's deep. So you got to decide, go ahead and keep the kid.
Right.
and take it from there.
There you go. I guess he has to stay. Right.
Yeah,
right,
he
right.
has to stay. So he
So,
has to stay.
I asked you that question because people feel like they got to have all this elaborateness to
No.
be able to start a business or even to be successful in a business.
Right.
You would be surprised at some of the things you see where they come from, how they,
Yeah.
they're not coming from brick and mortar. They're not coming out of these huge warehouses. They come out
Right.
of people's basements, out of people's foyers, you know what I mean? Out of even some people are using closets. So I say that to say, do not be deterred by your space. Yes, you may go on Facebook or YouTube and see these big, elaborate she sheds.
Right.
Not everybody is working with that, but that doesn't mean that you can't be successful.
Exactly.
And as a matter of fact, there may be some advantages because there's overhead to all those other things, right?
Right. I enjoy that space too. As small as just for me, I mean, the kids come, I can even iron right there. I can set up the ironing board right there, and everything is like right there. I can move here, stand here, move here, and I don't have to leave that space if I don't want to. If I want to create 10 ties and cut out 2 jackets, I can do all of that in that small space and still know where everything is.
Nice.
Yeah,
So no matter what the obstacle is, it can be overcome. You do not have to be deterred by anything. You just have to don't be deterred, but be determined.
Right.
And once you're determined, you can figure it out because there's always a way to get done what you need to get done. And so that's why
for a while I was using my dining room table before I realized that I could use the 6-foot table to cut. I was just I would come over, cut on a dining room table and take it over to my area, so
nice.
It works. So you can be successful and not have that, because a lot of times you can feel almost discouraged when you look at other people's sewing area. There's a lot of things, a lot of people that's putting out, this is my sewing room. Boy, if I had a sewing room, I would buy a ton more fabric, and I have too much already.
It's just more room to fill up.
Fabric hoarder. Yes, I'm a fabric hoarder. Yes. But I enjoy those pieces. I love to feel it. Sometimes I just feel fabric and rub it like, this would be a great dress. Oh, a wrap dress. Oh, maybe I should put a collar on it. Oh, well, maybe, so your mind is just going. But then another challenge, going back to challenges, is if you lose your sojo, you're done.
Is that like Mojo?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's like sojo. That's what the sewing community call it.
Sojo. Okay.
So it's like if you lose your desire, sometimes you just lose the desire for all of it. And so sometimes that happens. Like if I have a huge order, like I had a late order for wedding ties. Yeah, that was
late orders.
Yeah. So, but they enjoyed them, and I enjoyed making them, and I wanted to make sure I could make it before. So after that, I had to take a break for about a week. I couldn't cut. I didn't have the desire to even go in my area to even clean off the table. I could not do it. And so I had to become re-inspired. And a lot of times I get re-inspired by watching other people, whether it's on Instagram or going to YouTube videos or looking at Making a Cut or Project Runway, people that are designers. And I'm like, look, and then I'm excited. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to make a jacket. Right. Okay, so on the jacket, I'm gonna cut that arm off, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna add some leather pieces. Oh, let me order this, and then so it comes back. But sometimes you do lose that, and when that's lost, you have to sit back, because then if you keep going, you'll make mistakes.
Got you. Yep. That's good to know. I know in my business, when I get to that point, or even if I get tired, right. I know I need to stop, because you're right. You'll make mistakes, and then you're losing product and you're wasting money. It's a terrible, terrible thing. But I like how you said you get re-inspired, because I was going to ask you, like, where does your inspiration come from? What's on trend? What's on, what's happening? And when you look at other people, it's not to mimic what they do. It's not to be a second rate of them. It's just to, like you said, to get inspiration and to adore really what they're doing. I mean, you become a fan. So
right.
Where you get your inspiration from for your designs, or just sewing or whatever?
Yeah. So it's real fun looking at new designers. I always look at because the fashion world is actually a year to a year and a half ahead of us.
Oh,
so whatever we're looking at, we're
wearing old clothes. Is that what you're telling me?
Basically, all of us is wearing old stuff, because 2023's fashions are already out. they're already doing the run with right now. This is New York Fashion Week.
Okay.
And so I've been New York Fashion Week out. I go to different designers. I want to see how they put their colors together. I look at a lot of colors. And so sometimes I'll just write down color schemes, or then I'll look at how they made, or how like a dress is made. Like I'm ready to make this jacket, right? So I thrifted a men's suit jacket, and it's like a denim color, and it's got 3 buttons on it. But I'm about to cut it up and add denim wherever I want to add it, because denim is in for the season, for this season, and it'll be in for 2023, like real heavy in fall and in spring, summer. And so I take my inspiration from seeing, people like that. And, I laugh with the people on, these shows like Making the Cut and Project Runway. I cry when they have to leave. I'm like, oh my goodness, she could have did better. All she had to do was, and then I'm telling her what she needed to do, but I'm not even on the show, But it's fun to, it's this whole journey is just super fun for me. I enjoy sewing. I can sew when I'm upset. I can sew when I'm sad. I can sew when I'm crying. I can sew when I'm mad. I can sew when I'm happy. I can sew when I'm
And I bet all those emotions evoke different pieces and different characteristics in your pieces. And Olivia mentioned that she could totally understand when you get tapped out and you need to do whatever. But the thing I think about fashion, and one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on here, I really think fashion is the basis of all creative people. Because I know for me, and Olivia could probably speak to this, when I'm making shirts or I'm making something, I look to fashion. I might see a design in a dress or a pattern on a dress, and I'm like, oh,
right.
I want to do that. Or I know Olivia, she makes earrings.
I know Olivia makes the best earrings for everybody. Olivia makes the best earrings.
Yeah. And I was saying,
I'm actually about to contact Olivia. Because I saw an order that she made somebody some customs, but I wanted to make. I need my.
All right, Olivia, you have been put on notice, but
Olivia, I'm sorry, but you are on blast right now, because I will be contacting you. Actually, I typed it out, but I didn't send it to you yet. You'll be good.
Yeah, but I know we all look at fashion for the latest colors, the latest trends, designs, and kind of incorporate them into everything. Serena says that you like classic pieces, and that you've taught her about capsule wardrobes and timeless pieces. And there's certain things that don't go out of style, or maybe they do for a minute and come back or whatever. So
you have your basic classic things and just keep them forever. Put them in the back of the closet. If you got some tans, some browns, some blacks, some blues, some yellows, just set them aside. If it fits good and you like it, set it aside, because you can always get a new pair of earrings. You can always get a new scarf. You can always get a new skirt that you can rock.
There are some things I don't want to come back, though, I must say.
Yeah. You can get rid of those.
Get rid of those.
Get rid of those. And that's another thing, like when in the future. So my vision is this. Okay, I'm sorry.
I haven't gotten there yet, but jump ahead. Go ahead.
I got excited. The future.
Probably what's your future vision?
Okay, so what
I'm just add before you say that, you are definitely off script, so don't yell at me.
Okay. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Okay, what was the question again?
No, go ahead. I'm just messing with
what is in store?
What is your future business?
For the future of the Tie Hive, I really want this store. And I want this store, this boutique type store, to when you come in, you can find accessories for your whole family. If you're taking family portraits, if you're having a wedding and you want to be one of the sharpest people there, you can find your accessories there. I want it to be where teens can come in if they're going to prom, if they're going on a date, their first date, and they want to wear something specific. And then I'm going to have a small thing on the side, because I love fashion and I know how I want you to look in that tie. Then I'm going to tell you what else to wear with it.
Okay.
But you go in your closet, or either I can tell you where you can get these pieces. So it's going to be like a personal stylist also on board, and that'll be me too.
All right, so you're going to accessorize the accessories. That's what I'm talking about, girlfriend.
Because I have a certain vision. Right?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. They got to wear your stuff correct.
You got to wear it correct. I need you to be fly at all times. Like, I love when people look fly. I'd be like, oh my goodness, girl, look at you. I'd be like, okay, so go ahead and just start walking. Like, I'm telling you, I know people be like, something is wrong with her, but I love fashion. Like, I love my friends to be fly. I love when I make a tie. I like pictures. You know, Serena can tell you that. Charles has sent pictures. Some of my other customers have sent me pictures, and I want to see how fly it looks. And you know, and a lot of the guys that I have that are repeat customers, I got some customers that keep me working. That's where the production problem comes in. They keep me working. I can't make any extras to put on the site because they keep me working. But it's fun to do it, you know, and I enjoy every bit of it. So
yeah, nice. Now, one thing, and I'm sure people on here can relate. When you create, very rarely do you have any of your creations. Now, I heard you say that you had a particular brand that was just for you, but how often do you really get to make stuff for you because of you making stuff for other people?
I'm actually making something for me right now.
Oh,
yeah, but I can't talk about it. You guys will hear about it in the future. But I'm really making something for me right now. And I'm also working on my son. I'm making him a, what's those jackets called? Letterman jacket.
Letterman jackets, okay.
Yeah. So I'm making him a Letterman jacket, and the fabric store who I bought the fabric from is waiting for me to send them the finished copy. So
okay, all right. So hey, I might have to have you back for a double dose. So
yes. I'll be glad to come with Honeybee's Hive. You know, so
yeah, everybody is loving your idea, loving where you're going. Yep. So I think though, in what you talked about organically, you talked about the great things about your business. Always, you know, we talked about the challenges, but you know, I always ask people what are the great things about their business, but you've kind of expounded on that. You get to play, you know. So if you're playing makeup, you play in fabric. You get to
play in fabric. Like I love fabric. Like I can just sit there and hold it and just feel it and see what I can make from it. What would be best suited. If something is not right for a certain garment, I won't use it. You know what I mean? If I have to order something else, you know, stuff like that. And my son even has his own Instagram. My 8-year-old, and
yes, I've seen him fly.
Yes, I know he's a little fly. But what I do with him is I'll make his comfy pants. He always be like, "Mommy, could you please make me some more comfy pants?" And so on my off season, I just buy them. But
is there an off season? Like really?
Well, yeah, I do have a little off season. Right before school starts, I just buy him school stuff. Okay. You know, and I buy him elastic waist pants, but then I'll go to my stash and then I'm firing it up. Yeah. Okay. So a lot of, like, if you go on his Instagram, he's D Mackay Kid. If you go on his Instagram, almost all of his pictures is something I made and everything he's got on.
Got you. Looks like some more people joined us. Linda Compton. I didn't want to miss you.
Oh, that's my mother-in-law. Hey.
D Turbo.
That's my son. Hey.
Okay, so we got a lot of people on here. Let me just tell you, the chat is fire. It is lit right now. People coming. I'm loving this. Why don't you show up for all my segments? Because I am loving it. Be sure that you hit that subscribe button so you do not miss anything that I am dropping, because I am always turning out new entrepreneurs. And as I mentioned before, in case you missed it, if you would like to be a guest on my show, please drop it in the chat. I will definitely get with you and we can have a conversation. Hint, hint, Tiffany King. Hint, hint, Olivia Hayward. I need all of y'all to come through for your girl so we can have some conversations, because I tell you, I learn so much when I talk to my people. I do. I get inspired. It feels so great. Not that I have anything against men entrepreneurs, but I love my ladies. I love to see you guys out here doing what you love to do, your passions. We are all at different levels. We are all doing different things. But the main thing is that we are all doing it. We are doing it. I love that. I love that I am creating a network of people that we can tap into for resources and, you know, just lean on each other. I think that is so important in business. You have to know what people to lean on and what people not to lean on. You got to know the good people and who to stay away from. So I think all of that is absolutely awesome. So aside from the things that you do in terms of, like, you know, we know you do the tie things and things like that. Can I just call you and say, hey, Marie, this is what I need? Like, do you do things like that? And
yes.
You can say no. I mean,
you can. It depends on if it's in my scope. You know, if I can't do it, I'm not going to tell you I can. Okay. But if I want a challenge and I want to try it, I'm going to tell you, let me just see what I can do first. And then I'll make it myself. And then I'll show it to you. Like you said, a mock-up, I'll do something like that. And and a lot of people use not scrap fabric, muslin fabric. I don't use muslin. I have to have a real deal. And I have a lot, because I have a lot of fabric.
Okay.
You know? Some fabric I'm not gonna use. I know I'm not gonna use, and so I'll use that to see.
Yeah,
Especially if it. I'll say, hey, Carla, is that a knit? Do you want something soft and stretchy? Do you want something woven? Do you want something stretch? Tell me what you're looking for.
yeah.
And if it's something I can do, yeah, I can get it out for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna take you back to a conversation that you and I had, and this is important, I think, for some of the other crafters that are in here.
Mhm.
As what I do, t-shirts and different things like that, pants, what have you, customizing those type things. I had talked to you about potentially being a vendor for me, making
Yes.
some blanks is what we call it, some blank items that then
Right.
I can go and add the customization to.
Right.
Because again, we're always looking for vendors where we can get t-shirts or where we can get this or that or whatever. So
Mhm.
that something that you would be open to potentially
Yes.
doing blanks for people?
Yes, I can do blanks. Yeah, like this shirt that I have on now. This is actually almost a blank. It's just out of it's a blank, but it's just out of a tie-dye fabric. You know what I mean? So, but this is something that you would want. This is like a sweatshirt. This was,
Right.
with these type of sleeves and everything, or you can have something similar to the t-shirt that you have on. These sleeves I love. Like I make all my stuff in these sleeves because they're
Hold your arm up. Let me see the sleeve you're talking about. Hold your arm up.
it's just no. See how this goes. Wait, how this goes here?
Oh,
How
okay.
it goes this line here.
Yes,
It's not the regular cut line.
Right,
The one
right.
that I forget what this is called, but
Okay. And that's important because it's very hard to find blanks in larger sizes.
yeah,
Like you can get small, medium, large, but when you start hitting the 3 and 4X, if you can find them, they are costing you
right,
big time, right?
yeah.
So to find someone who could be able to say, "Hey, yeah, I can get you some 4X or 5X,"
Right. And then that would, a lot of the patterns these days are, I think Mimi G is the only one right now that's making plus size patterns that go up to 4X, but in order to make like if I needed to make a 5X, I would get a 4X pattern and I would grade it out. Yep. And just grade it. And that takes time to grade it. And then I'll make a whole nother pattern and just stick it with the other one, so in case I got to go back to a 4X, I can do that.
Yeah, because I know we were talking about leggings in particular.
Oh yeah,
some blank leggings for me. So, really the it's unlimited. It's endless the things that you can go and do, and the things that you're already doing is absolutely awesome. I need to get
super fun. It's like like I am having a ball.
And I love people who love what they do because when you love what you do, it doesn't really feel like work. Everything else in life is work.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you something. Yes, I'm a nurse by trade, but I'm a
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm a registered nurse. Yeah, 25 years.
Oh,
but I am a seamstress and a designer by nature. That's it. That's what makes me happy. I mean, it used to make me happy to work as a nurse too, but
but I know this is a different level of happiness.
Yeah, but the level of happiness that I have now is a contentment. It's like I want to make the best thing so that when that person gets this item, they're going to call me or text me or give me some kind of review and say thank you so much. When I did that wedding, this last wedding, a little bit over a month ago, the groom was upset because he didn't have the ties that I had made for the groomsmen.
Oh no.
So, right. So the bride, she called me and she said, I'm sorry, I know it's too late, because it was like 2 days away from me being complete. Not their wedding, because I wanted to be complete a week before. Right. So I worked on it. I worked. And it was too late for him. Oh. I know, right? Because
I love that you told her no, because there's some people would have said, "Oh yeah, I could do it," and it might not have been
do it. I was so
tired. Yeah, I love that.
I was so tired, and the fabric that I was given was a 4-way stretch. Imagine making a tie stand with a 4-way stretch fabric. I had to go and get new facings. I had to figure it out, and I was able to figure it out. The only problem I did run into the part that goes around the neck. I tried to do that and face that, and it wouldn't work. It just kept snapping and snapping. So I had to get a whole nother fabric. And I said, I talked to her. I said, so I had to, use what I had here. And she said, well, it's going to be up under their collar. So I said, you will never see it. And I sent her a picture. I, put a shirt on my mannequin and put the tie on. And she was like, I can't see anything. And then she showed her husband. to be, and he was like, no, there's no problem. So I went on and made it. And those guys, and they all came in individual bags. And she was like, oh my goodness, you put them in individual bags and boxes. So they were really pleased with that.
Yeah. But I love that you told her no, because sometimes
Yes, I had
as
to.
business people, we think we can't say no because we're gonna lose a sale, we're gonna lose this. Sometimes you gotta say no.
Yeah, I wasn't available to do that in 2 days because I know I had a timeline of when I wanted things completed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and my ties, I have to let my garments set. I always say they have to set. I don't want to touch them for like 24 hours. I want them to just set there. If I want them to hang, they have to hang, whatever I have to do. So,
yeah. And there's sometimes when you might say, yes, I can push myself, but yep, you got to say no. That's part of business too. Everybody can't get a yes. And I love the fact that you said that you did them individually, because being a creator is from start to finish. You're not just finished when the item is done. You got to package it. You got to present it, because that's actually what they see before they see the garment. They see how it comes. And so that presentation, that alone, when you get something and open it up the way you see it, it makes you happy before you even know what's in the box. So that is definitely important as part of your brand, as part of what you do. So all of that is absolutely lovely. So if you had to give advice to anyone who was starting any type of a business, I see Olivia saying yes, because your stuff comes packaged beautiful as well.
I can't wait, Olivia. I'm coming for you, girl.
I think she's having a sale right now too, if I'm not mistaken. I think I got an email or a text message or something. So
okay. Yeah.
Get it.
Okay, and I want something specific. So
okay. So maybe y'all could do a collab or something. Hey, that's hot.
Yeah.
But not before I do, but yes.
Right.
So what advice do you have for people in business? Perhaps getting into sewing, just in general.
I would just say, if you're going to start a business, I've been scared to do this forever. And you always hear the saying, do it scared. Well, I'm scared. And I took the leap into this, but my whole foot is not on the ground yet. Only my big toe.
Oh, right.
And because I want to make everybody happy, and sometimes I can't make everybody happy. And that's okay. But one thing I do take away from this is that I have to use my time wisely. So use your time wisely. If you have a family, or if you have kids, or if you have a full-time job, take out increments of time. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, you know what? From 12 to 12:30, I'm cutting. And I'm just going to keep cutting. And that's all I'm going to do is cut, and then I'll do that. And then you'll walk away feeling satisfied. You know what I mean? And then when it comes to inspiration, I watch videos. I read books. Like, I'll read books on how to get out of the fear of something, that's not necessarily pertaining to sewing. Or if I have a couple stitches that I don't know how to make this garment unless I make these stitches and I never sew, I'll look it up. I'll go and get a book about it and read about it, attend classes, seminars, and never, ever worry about what the next person is doing. Some people are well ahead of you, and that's okay. But they had a journey before that too. Take your journey, enjoy it from start to finish, because it's going to be forever. If this is going to be your journey, if this is going to be a business for you, this is going to be forever. It doesn't stop. Enjoy it while you can. The ups, the downs, the tears, the happiness, the money, the time you have to send something back, the fails that you have. Enjoy it all, because it's all building who you are as a character. And once you build yourself as a character, it builds your business. And always be honest with people. Always be honest. If you can't do it, you can't do it. It's okay to say no. And I learned that. It's okay to say no. Because now I'm just like, nah, I ain't gonna be able to do it, man. Like, no, I don't do that. But for the most part, that's the advice. And keep going. Have fun with it. If this is something you enjoy every minute of it. Like, I'm sitting here looking at my stuff here, and I'm ready to press it over. Now this, I press.
What you say? End this so I can get back to my.
No. This is stuff that garments that's already made. I'm just looking at it. There's a little wrinkle and stuff. Like, look, here's a little clutch.
Oh, okay.
So that's a little clutch.
Clutch,
yep.
Oh, okay. And you matching it up with the tie, and that is all off the
tie, and here's a long tie that goes with it. A men's long tie that.
All right
that
now.
goes with it, and I got a kid set that goes with it. It's
Okay. I
yeah,
love it. I love that you take in consideration everybody.
yes.
Girl, I just need some hot shoes to go with that. And
Oh
once you
yeah,
start making shoes, then
and
I'm
then that way you can come into my personal stylist room, girl, and I can tell you exactly whether you should do strap ups or pumps.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Yeah,
And I always tell people surround yourself with good people too, because there's two kind of people. It's the people who's going to throw you the ball because they know you're going to knock it out the park every time.
right.
Then there's the people who won't throw you the ball because they know you're going to knock it out the park every time.
Okay.
So you got to know who you're playing with.
Right.
You got to know who you're playing with.
Mhm.
Olivia says she wants to get an African print, which brings me to my last question. And then I know we need to wrap it up because we're well over our 45 minutes. But I'm going to ask you this. Can people bring you their fabric and you make things, or you exclusively bring fabrics? Because I know I'm a little, and I know Serena has it, issue with that too. It's like, I sometimes I don't mind, but people don't always pick out good quality things.
Yeah, and it's always the cheap fabric that's not good, and it's not a good idea, because it's just not a good idea, because then they expect you to take your cost down, and then if you don't take your cost, oh, I'm not dealing with, don't deal with me, because you can still go to other stores. There's Burlington, there's Macy's, there's Dillard's. Go ahead and feel free, but my pieces you're never going to see.
But
But yeah,
I can't guarantee somebody else's fabric. I can't guarantee
right.
that.
And I can't say if you go out and buy 10 yards of fabric, you may have bought it for nothing, because if I can't make the garment, or if the pattern doesn't call for that type of fabric, you just wasted money. And so let me do it. You tell me the color scheme, you tell me what you're looking for. I got you, Olivia. I kind of got some I got a piece of Ankara print that is fire, and I have not touched it, so I will send you a picture of that. It is fire.
Girl, you was worried about this, and I could keep talking to you forever.
I was so nervous. I was going to do it scared. I was just because I'm shy.
Probably got you nervous. Don't listen to her, girl. This is just girlfriend conversation.
Yes.
We're just talking about what we do, like we at the table in the backyard sipping. So Olivia said, be sure to send it to her with about 30 yeses on there.
Okay, I got you.
Ready for you.
So definitely,
I have thoroughly enjoyed this. I learned something new about you. I love it. And Marie is not local. A lot of the people that I've interviewed have been local. Marie is actually in Ohio. So it doesn't matter where you are, we can get together, we can talk. There's means, then there are ways. So don't be intimidated by that. But yes, I appreciate you so much for spending a little bit of your Friday evening with me.
This has been fun. Thank you. So anybody that like, comment, subscribe, to see.
Thank you. Shout out to girl.
Shout out.
I will be sending you the small business t-shirts.
Yes,
I send to everybody, because this is how we do it, one brick at a time, from the ground up. This is how we are building.
I love it. I love it.
Absolutely. So thank the babies for sharing you with me, as well as hubby tonight.
Yes, sure will.
Guys, I will be back in 2 weeks with somebody else who does something a little bit different. I appreciate everyone who has hung out with us in the chat. Check out Marie. Her stuff is fire. We got her IG up here. We got her direct email up here. You can check her out on Facebook. If you can't find her, just simply message me on YouTube and I will connect you to her. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me. We are going to end this segment right now, and I will talk to all you guys later.
Bye. Thank you.
Marie, you hang on.